Today's video is sponsored by Trading212, where you can invest in real stocks and ETFs for free. And with a special promo code, you can get a free share worth up to 100 Great British Pounds. Hi guys, it's ASBYT, and this is the Google Pixel 4 XL. I've been using it on and off for the last week or so it's time for my full review. The good, the bad, the truth. And remember, if you love everything tech, subscribe down below and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss when I post. So without further ado, let's get straight to it.
Y'all see me flying, never drop down, smoking high, I am not round, no denying what I got now, keep an eye out, keep it locked down, see me.
Before we continue, a quick word from our video sponsor. Trading212 is a great way to own an actual share of your favorite company. In the app, you'll find the stocks of Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, Nike, Tesla, and many, many more. Trading212 democratizes the financial markets by letting anyone invest in thousands of real stocks and ETFs totally free. All you have to do is simply download the app, open an account in about 3 minutes, and start investing without paying any fees or commissions whatsoever. Sign up and use the code ASBYT to get your filthy mitts on a free share worth up to £100. Right, so a week or so ago, Google posted this package out to me to take a look, and of course it is the Google Pixel 4 and 4 XL. They're brand new flagships. Now the phones do come in 3 different colours, just black, or of course the 2 that I have here, oh so orange and clearly white. Now I'm really digging the orange on this occasion, but for the purpose of the review, I've elected to use the white XL version. Let me know in the comments what colour you prefer out of the 3. Also inside this rather large reviewers unit, we have the 2 standard retail boxes that you would get if you were to buy this phone, and a few little goodies as well, including my own personalised star map. Always nice to have a personalised unboxing. Right, so firstly, in terms of everyday use and my opinions in the time that I've been using it, we're first going to start with battery. And the battery cell sizes when they were announced were pretty contentious. 2,800 mAh on the Pixel 4 and 3,700 mAh on the 4XL. Now, while the 4XL battery cell is 270 mAh larger than the 3XL, it kind of needed to be, based on the battery life of that 3XL, and personally I still feel that size is somewhat disappointing. That's what she said. In a sea of flagship smartphones that are all 4,000 plus, it just seems a little bit odd that Google decided that this would suffice. Now, to be fair on Google, however, the optimization of said battery seems to be very good. I know some people have experienced average battery life, but maybe they're simply using the device differently to how I use it, because while it's not been a sort of incredible 2-day battery, I've been easily getting through a whole day's use without the need to charge. Whether it's the optimization of Android 10, dark mode, or better performance in standby mode, I'm not too sure, but it has all in all performed pretty well for that cell size. Now, before I jump onto what is good with the Pixel 4 XL, another disappointment this year is once again in that design department. Last year, it's no secret the front panel with its rather substantial notch was not exactly a firm favourite amongst the consumers, or you and me. It certainly did not win the Best Dressed award. So earlier in the year, I was incredibly excited for the release of the Pixel 4 and 4 XL. I was expecting that sort of near bezel-less design, possibly a punch hole cutout that we saw in a lot of concepts and renders, etc. It wasn't to be though. It's like Google experimented with more screen real estate last year, got it badly wrong, and then this year they've kind of played it incredibly safe and just flip reverse back to a almost 2017 design. Not in an effort to make a great looking device, but more to kind of save face and avoid that kind of tech community backlash again. Now, one good new feature this year comes in the form of its 6.3-inch Oled display. With its 90Hz refresh rate, Quad HD resolution, and its PPI density of 537, it really does look and feel the part. And it's great for those of you who really want to pixel count. Pixel count? Google Pixel? No? The 90Hz refresh rate when set will actually jump between 90 and 60 depending on what you're doing on your phone. You can actually set this in developer options to always stay to 90 Hz, but having it switched between the two will be better on battery life as well. Higher refresh rates of course create much smoother transitions, etc., and all of the devices with 60 Hz displays now, they kind of feel to me just a bit outdated. Now of course one area that pretty much all Pixel phones have excelled in over the years is of course the camera. And with a fair few new magical software features thrown in, this year is no different, with one exception which we'll get to. So in that camera setup we have two camera lenses, a primary 12.12 megapixel lens with f1.7 aperture and a 16 megapixel telephoto lens with f2.2 aperture and 2x optical zoom. Photos are, as expected, pretty darn brilliant, thanks in large to the post-processing that quite simply no other manufacturer on the market can match. In particular, with its portrait mode, it is hands down the best point and shoot smartphone available. Because it's very software heavy in post, it can snap the shot quickly and sort it out later, meaning shutter speeds etc. are lightning, and you can snap those action and pet shots etc. with stunning accuracy and very minimal motion blur. Also, the live HDR feature on the Pixel 4 means you don't have to wait until after the shot is taken to see what photo you are going to get. You can actually see straight in the viewfinder before. 2x optical zoom has been fairly standard across the board in recent times. There's nothing new there, and that's a little bit disappointing for me, especially when Google on stage decided to say an ultra wide angle lens is fun, but not as useful as a telephoto lens. I'm gonna have to beg to differ with you there. If it was 5x, 10x optical zoom, for example, they may have a point. Why they couldn't include a third lens on that big square setup, I honestly don't know. But taking that away, let's get onto some of those brand new software magical features. So we have dual exposure mode, allowing you to adjust not only the overall exposure, but also just the shadows as well, so you can really make those shots stand out. Night photography is excellent, again using the software Night Sight, and there is also astrophotography mode as well, which when you take nighttime shots of the sky and stars etc., the software actually raises the shadows and limits the noise incredibly well to produce some brilliant shots. Although in fairness, I've barely been able to use the feature due to the fact that if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you will know just over a week ago my wife gave birth to our little baby boy. So it's been more nappies and poop and staring at the ceiling awake than staring at the stars. Selfies on the front camera are again very sharp and look great. If a little over processed, but that's pretty much standard for Pixel phones, and it's probably still my favorite for those type of shots. It's kind of a bit weird how Google binned off the secondary lens on that front setup from the 3XL, especially considering we now have, well, more top bezel than we did last year, and it just means that we don't quite get the same group selfie shot opportunities that we had last year. Video is okay. It's not as good as the iPhone 11 series, which for me is still the best out there, but it's okay. Still no 4K at 60 frames a second, even on the rear, which I think is a bit of an odd choice, and no 4K at all on that front camera. So that may be a problem for you vloggers out there, but it does have some pretty nice stabilization, and on the whole, it does a pretty good job in video. Now, a big headline feature for the Pixel 4 series is the much leaked and talked about new radar technology, which is of course the first of its kind found in a smartphone. It's known on the device as Motion Sense, and it allows you to skip music tracks, silence alarms and calls etc. with a simple gesture, and pretty much knows when you're about to pick up the device, so it can ready the face unlock for faster access to your phone. Now, the first two uses I haven't really used. I find them a bit gimmicky, like I did with similar sort of things on the S Pen on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, for example. And instead of sort of waving my hands, I can just use my thumb or finger. But hey, I'm a simple man, I'm easily pleased. Just give me a thumb. That sounds weird. But the last use for the radar has been absolutely brilliant. Unlocking the Pixel 4 XL couldn't have been easier or quicker, and it's also 3D of course to rival the security of the iPhone. I would be interested to see how much this radar actually drains the battery if you were to turn Motion Sense off, but that's probably for another video. The all-new recorder is a function that I will be using for sure. You can actually record voice memos, etc., and have it automatically transcribe them for you. And not only is this great to remember important bits of information off the cuff, but also you can search for parts of the voice recording to use by selecting it in the transcript part. Great for students, etc., in lectures, or journalists who are interviewing people on the whim and don't want to get out a voice recorder, for example. And all in all, I think it will be pretty handy for a lot of people. With its 6 GB of RAM, it's not jaw-dropping, but it's probably good enough for 95% of the population. Unless you're a huge multitasker or gamer, you will have absolutely no problems whatsoever. I certainly haven't experienced any problems this last week with freezes, lags, etc. I'm a little bit surprised they used the Snapdragon 855 and not the 855 Plus, considering, well, it's launched in numerous other phones that came out before it. But again, this isn't really a deal breaker for me personally, as the 15% GPU performance increase doesn't massively affect my life. Storage options of 64 GB and 128 GB only is an interesting choice. Cloud storage has, of course, become so popular now with companies, but certainly if you are a heavy phone storage hitter, whatever that is, it may be a problem for you. The speakers are also pretty darn good. I would probably go as far as saying there's a handful, maybe 4 or 5 devices that I would say have excellent speakers for smartphones, and then there's kind of the rest of the pack, and I would certainly put this device in that top bracket. The sound is loud and rich, and there's not really much more that I would want in a smartphone. Only one front-firing speaker and one bottom-firing speaker this year from the 2 front-firing last year, which again for some people might be a bit of a deal breaker, but for me, reducing that bottom bezel to give me more display is more of a benefit. Stock Android 10 is a pleasure to use, probably with the exception of OnePlus's Oxygen OS skin. Stock Android 10 is the way I like my Android device to run. A big improvement in the gestures department from the half-baked Android 9, and also the inclusion of dark mode, etc., make this current Pixel line run more or less like a dream. So it's a great phone. If camera is incredibly important to you, minus an ultra-wide lens, of course. If you want the latest Android software updates straight from the horse's mouth. If you just can't get enough of that 90Hz refresh rate flat display, but it's also incredibly annoying. The fact that Pixel phones are always released so late in the year means they are the final big player in the crop of talent in 2019. And of course, this means that the specs, etc., will be outdated in just a few months' time when we turn into 2020. As an onlooker, it's a baffling release cycle that they release these devices so late. They've already lost sales to Samsung, Huawei, Apple, OnePlus, who have all produced 1, if not 2, flagship devices by the time that this comes round, and they've always had the latest specs earlier than the Google device. I honestly feel their sales would be far higher if they released this phone in May, June time. And it's not just that, because the most annoying thing about this device is the 2 key areas that I wanted to see Google improve from last year: design and battery. And while I've already stated that battery has improved from last year, I still feel they could have done more, and the design is just a bit not great again. It's just a real shame, because I was really excited for the Pixel 4 and have been all year. With its notorious brilliant camera, it could, with just a few tweaks, blow the competition away every year, and it just doesn't. I will still be switching due to that said camera, due to the improved battery and that 90Hz flat display, but definitely let me know in the comment section below whether you will be switching too. Are you going to be going out and getting your hands on the Pixel 4 or 4 XL? And if not, why not? As always, these videos take quite a long time to make, so if you did enjoy it and found it helpful, whack that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. What on earth am I saying here? Like and share as well if you have friends and family who are possibly looking to get their hands on the Pixel 4 and 4 XL and want to know more. I'll love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. ASBYT, peace out.
Drop down, smoking high, I am not round. I'm not round, no denying what I got now. Keep an eye out, keep it